Hey y'all, Coach in the Fight here. What is that down at the bottom of that screen? Oh man, maybe I can cover it or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Anyway, we're here talking about the golden calf. We're at the end of the golden calf, and so we're summing up the golden calf and what we learned about the golden calf by way of China Waka. The Feast of Revelations. We got a lot of revelations this year, as we usually do during this season. I don't know if it's over or anything like that. Some of you can chime in, especially the ones who are having dreams. Your dreams. Since you're having dreams, multiple dreams a night, yours could actually continue from. I remember back when I was having dreams, you would have multiple dreams a night for a long time, every night, multiple dreams. If you're in that period, share some of your dreams. Your dreams are not really for you. They're for your family, they're for your community, and they're for for your bigger picture family as well. So share them. Don't keep them to yourself. At least write them down in a book. You can share them down there in the comment section if you want to. Share your dream that you had. I'm going to ask you for as much detail as you can remember. Every little detail, truthful detail counts. Try not to make up anything. Try not to add any of your own understanding of what you feel, think, and believe. You'd be like, yeah, I know why it was my mama because my mama, yada, yada. Save that part because nobody in a dream is their own self. Dreams don't work like that. Whenever you see something in a dream, it's a fifth dimensional representation of the person that you're supposed to be seeing. Like if it's a mama, then it's a mama figure. If it's a grandparent or an uncle, then it's an avuncular person. Not necessarily that uncle that was in the dream. It's just that uncle, if he was a good uncle, then you're talking about a good spiritual uncle. If he's a bad uncle, then yeah, whatever you're talking about gonna be messed up pretty much. Whatever your dream is really about gonna be real messed up. But you don't call that uncle up and be like, hey uncle, I had a dream about you last night. No, you didn't have a dream about your uncle last night. Just like you didn't see a TV show about your uncle last night when you was watching Different Strokes or some other show on TV and it reminded you of your uncle. You're gonna be like, hey, uncle, I saw you on TV. You're gonna be like, what? How the hell I get on TV? That's what you're gonna be like your dream. How you get in your dream? How I get in your dream? Anyway, so let me get over here where I can see comments. Make sure y'all can hear me. We're talking about Christmas spirit. The Christmas spirit here at the end of the Christmas spirit. But not only Christmas spirit, but paganism in general. Paganism in general. One of the things we're going to be talking about in this video is homosexuality. And how paganism is the source of homosexuality. Just straight up. The same way they are pumping images, pictures, selfies, pagan holidays, witchcraft, and all that other stuff to the kids there in school. That's why the homosexuality goes along with it. That's why there's so many of them that are caught up in it. Now, see, that takes us back to the original story, though. The story of Adam and Eve. See, Eve didn't listen to nobody in the garden except the devil. I'll put my password in while y'all think about that. Our Father in heaven gave instructions. Yahweh gave instructions. Adam gave instructions. They was a little bit different. He added a little part to it. Don't even touch it. He added that's Adam's instruction. But Eve ain't listening to neither one. The only one she listened to out of everybody there was the devil. She ignored everybody else out. Everybody else had to say, she ignored everybody. You read some of the other books, like the Legends of the Jews. It says that the angels were screaming at her. The stars in heaven were screaming at her to the top of their fifth dimensional, sixth or seventh dimensional lungs. Of course, they ain't got lungs, but they was telling her, no, don't do it. No, Eve, no, Eve, no, Eve, no, Eve. Everybody was screaming, no, Eve. Michael, Gabriel, the thrones, the Ophanim, Our Father in heaven himself screaming, Eve, don't do it. And she did it anyway. She did it anyway. And what's the first thing she did after she did it? She went and convinced her husband to do it. Convinced her husband to do it with her. She didn't repent. She didn't, try to understand. She didn't even try to squirm her way out of it. She went straight to her husband and said, try this. The thing about it, that's exactly what we're doing now. Same. I'm sorry, women folk, but, to hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. Toughen up a little bit, damn it. Women have a propensity towards evil. Propensity. It ain't saying that you're evil. That don't mean you evil. You got a propensity towards getting fat too. You got a propensity towards getting old and ugly, but that don't mean you got to do it. We got a propensity towards a lot of stuff. Oh, I can't define the word, but you understand what I mean. That's real. Ain't nobody saying women are evil. You got a propensity towards evil, which means if don't nobody watch you, Eve, you definitely going to be over there talking to Satan. That's just what you do, boo-boo. I'm sorry. You want to start getting personal? Christmas? Taking pictures? What else? Breaking the Sabbath day? Calling yourself a Christian all while you're doing it. You want to keep going? We ain't made it past the first 10 commandments. You want to get into that's barely into chapter 20. You want to go into Exodus chapter 21, Exodus chapter 22, and Exodus chapter 23. And the moral of this story is our mamas is what's teaching it to us. Mama, you the one doing it. Jamming it down our throat. I don't want to get personal, mama, but let me tell you what you did, mama, and what you do, mama. You demanded, not you personally. I'm talking about women folk am I talking about women folk in general? No, I'm talking about the ones who are succumbed to evil. Like I said, you guys have a propensity towards evil, but some of you guys have mashed the gas on evil and straight up watching Disney videos since you was a child, practicing on how to be a witch as a grown-up. And you are now trying to decide if it's a W or a B, and you're doing a toss-up between which one you're going to be on a day-to-day basis to solve that itch. I'm talking about them. I ain't talking about the ones down in the comment section. Like, no, I ain't talking about the ones who obey the law. Because that's all it's about. Like I said, Eve, the first thing she did was break the law. What else she known for? Adam was already naming animals. What Eve doing? Adam is already, what else he doing? I mean, we can go back to the book of Genesis if we want to. We locked and loaded here in the shepherd of Hermas. That's where we're coming out of today, talking about the name of the Messiah. What is his name? Now, that's a side note. That's kind of where I started, but, I forgot. I prayed, and that's not the direction our Father told me to take. It's kind of where it started. Let me get back on track. Was it the seal? I think it was more than just the seal. We'll be talking about the seal from this chapter. What else? The main point, though, is we talking about how mama is using love to do what? First of all, what is she trying to do? Mama wants us to call her on the telephone. But no, that ain't true. Because when we call mama on the telephone, when we call you on the phone, other mama, whatever, I don't know I'm gonna give you a name here in a minute. But when we call, because everybody mama ain't like this, and every mama ain't like this. But I'm just talking about a certain kind of mama, Christmas mama. When we call you any other day, it don't count. If it ain't a birthday, a Mother's Day, or any other pagan holiday, the conversation get ignored. And what you talking about? Go as far as to say nobody calls me on Christmas. Nobody calls me on my birthday. Nobody calls me on Mother's Day. So think what you have to say, Mama here today, is that the only way your child and grandchild can show you love is if they call you and celebrate a pagan holiday with you, celebrate Devil's Day with you. I ain't supposed to bash your gods or nothing like that, but I mean, come on, let's keep it real. We ain't children here. We've been trying to figure, some of us been trying to figure out what a Christmas tree got to do with our Father, what Santa Claus got to do with our Father. Well, that's what we're talking about. Jingle bells. You using your love to send your children to hell. You heard me, Mama. Just like Eve did, said, sure, Adam, and this is the not the paraphrase part. This is the bracket part. You know, when you straight up adding stuff to the text. I ain't finding it. I may remember the verse halfway through this story. But no, when you come out with after talking to Satan yourself, what does Satan promise you, Mama? Satan promised you would be like God, right? And all the other stuff she promised Eve. He promised Eve. She promised Eve back there when she was creating Cain. Oh yeah, that video, it's real, it's true. I ain't looked at it yet, but from the thumbnail, already, you know, minus the idolatry part, I already know what he's talking about. I ain't got to watch the video. I already know. Need to do my own, paste my own. I have, matter of fact. You want to find it? It ain't formally named. But while they were over there negotiating, Adam was somewhere else and totally complete, naming the animals or doing something other sweet. But then she comes and gives Adam the choice. Like I said, I'm making up stuff now. She gives Adam the choice. Adam, you either eat of this tree or you're going to lose your wife. He's like, what? What are you talking about? Well, I done already ate it. So what they got to do with me? Well, nothing really. So why you telling me? Well, because I done already ate it, Adam. What that mean? That mean I'm finna die. I done broke the commandment. I can already feel death crawling all over me. I'm about to get kicked out of the garden. That angel over there looking at me with this sword talking about I gotta go. Adam like, so? She like, you going with me? He like, no. At least he should have, but he didn't. He actually went with her. And you've been going ever since. Been going ever since. Ever since. We got 12 people looking. Only about a third of them liking. That's all right. A whole lot of people who watch my channel are females and women. But you know what? I don't pull no punches like that. So, like the Messiah told the disciples back there when they asked him in the book called The Gospel of Thomas, why is she here at all? The Messiah, and somebody quote the verse down there so you know what I'm talking about, or I will. The Messiah said, because she gonna change. Now, so a lot of women folk watching this video, but they didn't already change. You could change. All you gotta do is start keeping the commandments and doing what we're going, doing what they say. That go for children too. You could be 5 years old and keeping the commandments, statutes, laws, waking up at dawn, doing everything you're supposed to be doing, and you could be just as elevated. No, start reading the text, start feeding your spirit with the text, and next thing you know, you'll be, you know, talking to grown-ups and telling grown-ups about life and stuff, whatever the spirit puts on you to do. That's how it works. But the opposite way it works is breaking the law, particularly during pagan holidays like Christmas and birthdays, because those things cut your conscience off. That's how the pagans are able to go through and live a worldly life in peace. You see how happy they are Not worried about anything. Jingle bells, just worried about, if their car is new enough or whatever, if their job is secure enough or whatever, if they got enough money in the bank or whatever. Notice how they ain't worried about nothing. They turn on the news and it's like to them. They turn on, something, and start watching cats and stuff on YouTube. And it's the same. Don't neither want, they're getting more emotion out of looking cats than they do out of people dying by the hundreds of thousands over there in war, because it's just television to them. Why? Because their conscience is disconnected. Their conscience is cut off. That's the purpose of going to a pagan holiday, is to get your conscience cut off. To get it cut off, to piss off the Lord so you don't hear him no more. You don't hear him telling you, oh yeah, you, whatever. Our conscience is that soft, still voice that tells us righteousness and holiness. Every time we hear something telling us the right thing to do, whether we do it or not, that voice in us that's urging us toward righteousness is our Father in heaven. Simple as that. That's the way he talks to us. He only talks to us 3 ways. Only 3. People are like, I can make up stuff. No, oh, you can go read your Bible too. Dreams, your conscience, and intuition. Intuition comes from what you learned in previous lifetimes. That stuff you just know. That's because you learned it before you got here. Your dreams, that's because, well, we'll talk about that later. But dreams is a way for him communicating to you. And he do that to all of us, through dreams. That's a communication thing. It is communication. There's warnings involved. There's warning dreams. There's prophecy dreams. I forgot the other honey. Yes. There's different kinds of dreams, but there's dreams, intuition, and then your conscious. That's the now. The conscious is like right now, like when you get to the stoplight, do you go right or do you go left? That's the conscious, right? Knowing how to walk, that's intuition. You learned that long time. You learned that many lifetimes ago. You ain't got to relearn how to walk. That's intuition. But anyway. Let's see what we got now. We got a couple more people liking. Appreciate y'all hitting the like button. We're about half right now. But we're on a touchy subject, and I think we're doing good. About half the people liking. That means that we're talking to you not about something mushy. If it was 100% like it was the last 2 live streams, then that means I was just telling you mushy stuff, telling you happy stuff you wanted to hear stuff. That ain't what I'm here for. A whole lot of people can tell you what you want to hear and same old stuff and Psalms 23. If you wanted to hear Psalm 23, I promise you there's 11 videos and 100 channels that you can get that specialize in it. I'm on cutting edge. And when you're on cutting edge, there's 2 sides. The good side, the bad side. The side that feel good, the side that not so much. That's the point of being on the cutting edge, because you're cutting. And what we cutting through the truth. And I want to welcome all you new subscribers, you people who just started tuning into the channel based on the feast days. Yeah, we try to do that every feast day. And even if we don't, you can look at hundreds, thousands of videos we've done on feast days. Like this one we got coming up, the 10th day of the 10th month. That's the fast of the 10th month. That's the next fast. Everybody always likes fasting because fasting is associated with Atonement Day, which is the holiest day of the year. And, people think, oh, holiest day of the year, then fasting must be the holiest thing we can do, which it is, as long as you follow the Isaiah 58 type fast. And that's what we'll be doing on the 10th day of the 10th sacred month, the 10th day of the 10th sacred month. And if I remember correctly, it falls in a few days. You have to check the calendar over there on the thing. Whoop. Sorry about that. So that's what we're doing today. Eve, through the spirit of deception, she can do what she wanted to do, actually went down the whole path. Separation, everything, the whole path, even to the point of getting kicked out of the garden. And we have been stuck like that for 6,000 years. And the thing about it, we're still doing it. We still listening to feminine spirits. Somebody was doing a video on the angels. I don't know if y'all getting the same feeds that I do. That's why I be posting some of them. Be like, dang, did y'all see this one? But there's one dude that tried to break down the angel. He did a good job, because he stuck straight to what the Bible said, and he did an excellent job at it. But he got stumbled a little bit when it came to the feminine spirits, because the Bible says that the spirits are one sex. They're all male, and it talks about them as such. There is no, not saying anything against female, but like you said, in the beginning made he them, male and female made he them, meaning we were all male and female. And then when he took Eve out of us, he took the female part of us. But when we go back to being spiritual beings, we go to be back to where we were. And so we end up back with our feminine and male parts, and we end up being this unisex kind of angelic kind of thing. And they're all, for some reason, they're all counted as males. There ain't no such thing really as an angelic male or a female. It's just, like God, we call him a male. But he has both feminine and male aspects, all of them. But then there are certain cases, like I said, this video that I'm talking about, he was referencing the Bible, and the Bible did reference in a female spirit, but it didn't give any explanation of what a female spirit was, who, what, when, how, nothing, other than Leviathan. And that's where he had to, I've jumped outside of the 66 books to understand the connection between Leviathan and Lilith. And when you understand that, the connection between Leviathan and Lilith and who Lilith was, then you understand why Adam made the choice to eat of the fruit of the tree instead of just, letting Eve go. That's the second woman he letting go. If he had let her just go by herself, he should have, could have, would have, should have. I can't rewrite the story. I ain't going to make up too much of this. I ain't going to rewrite the story. But I ain't going to say he should have. But he definitely could have just let her go off and be with Satan and wait for the next one. Think about it. He didn't know. And so because he didn't, 6,000 years, we sitting up here now, still contemplating whether we're supposed to obey what Yahweh said we're supposed to do or not. Still questioning. Still debating. Still listening to Satan, no doubt. Some of you guys are listening to ChatGPT. Let me tell you what y'all did, man. Some of y'all mamas rejected daddy and said you didn't want to have nothing to do with what daddy said because daddy was talking about the law, truth, holiness, righteousness, and all that other stuff. But like we said, women have a propensity towards evil. Some of them went full-fledged toward evil and then started rejecting what daddy and consequently Father Abba had to say. And start going straight to these pagan holidays and listening. And not straight to the pagan holidays, I'm sorry. They didn't go straight to the pagan holidays. I'm sorry. I'm skipping a vital part. First thing they did was turn their back on the real law, the truth, what they were supposed to have been doing. Just threw it down the same way Eve did. Listening to Satan, said, you know what, I'm going to try. I'm going to roll the dice and see what happened. Doing the same thing with pagan holidays, taking pictures, breaking the Sabbath day, not all the stuff. This is not doing what the Bible is saying generally, just doing what they want to do in general. And so that's a feminine spirit. That's what the Bible is talking about. That's the part that he didn't understand, is that there are feminine spirits, but they're all evil. There's no such thing as male and female angels. They ain't like that. But just like there's no such thing as male or female words. But I promise you, if you go to the Strong's Concordance and look up a word, it's going to say feminine or masculine. But there's no such thing as a male or a female word. You want to keep this loop going? But when you go to the book, it's going to say the word is female and male. But there's no such thing as a female or male word. But the dictionary says it is, but it ain't real. So what's the end of the loop? I don't know. But the same way with the angels, there's no such thing as a female or male angel, but there are feminine and masculine angels. Here's the difference. The masculine angels are good. The feminine angels are not. The feminine angels are do what you want angels. Lilith is a feminine angel. Eve turned herself into a feminine angel. I mean, she had the chance she would recover somewhere along the line or whatever. She ain't cast out constantly or whatever, like the Lilith spirit is. But the Jezebel spirit is a feminine spirit. The Delilah spirit is a feminine spirit. That's what they mean by familiar spirits too. You know, just as a side note, it's a little bit of a tangent, as my daughter would call it. Is when they say a familiar spirit, that's somebody acting like somebody else. You remember how you used to watch Sesame Street? And they had all those different personalities. Well, if you go to New York City, you're going to see all of those different personalities on the street. Those are familiar spirits. Like the dude that lived in the garbage can. That's a familiar spirit that got that homeless dude living in a garbage can like that. He has a familiar spirit on him. Anyway. We got 13 people looking at it. Anyway, we're still trying to get over here and see the comments. I think they one click away. Mic check, 1 2 1 2, mic check. Mic check. Can't hear nothing. Mic check. Oh. All right. Now, we got royal princes. Let me see. Royal princes of the Most High Yah said, Shalom, coach, and in the fight family. Peace, love, and light. Shalom. Appreciate you stopping by. And I know this is a tough subject. Now, I see nobody bother to give the verse from the Gospel of Thomas as far as the feminine spirit. So, well, why all of this is important? Guys, if you're under this feminine spirit, whether you're a male or a female, because the men can be under it too. They're daddies that I don't know how to call them daddies of the world. They under the feminine, they under the spirit too. It's a feminine spirit. They under it too. It's just disobedience. And like I said, it's not really about sex and like that. Like all men are good, all women are bad. Come on, you gotta grow up a little bit. It's a feminine spirit, and it's just that the feminine spirits in the Bible. I mean, we don't have the word for it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The word is bigger than us when it comes to angels. We understand male and females when it comes to men, but male and females when it comes to spirits is on a whole nother level. Anyway, but the thing about it, it's all driving towards evil, and it is the root cause of homosexuality. So if you think about it, here in 2025, 2026, we're pushing evil. We're pushing Disney. We're pushing breaking the law. Even now, you have ChatGPT, which a lot of their mamas, when they reject it, or the men too, a lot of the people with the feminine spirit, the men too, when they decided to reject Yahweh and reject our Father's spirit, reject our Father's truth, they turned to ChatGPT. And yeah, I know I sound like a hypocrite, but guys, y'all ain't me. Some of y'all, most of y'all can't use ChatGPT. You do not have the skill to do it. Just like you don't have the skill to talk to the pastor down at the church. Think about that for a second. If you were to go to the pastor of a church, a church with 5,000 or 20,000 members, with a deacon at least 12 or more standing behind the pastor, and then you go up to the pastor and convince him of this, that, and other. Imagine how much headway you would get. Imagine how much trouble you would have to convince that pastor of anything. Well, that's like what it is talking to ChatGPT. And worse, and worse, and worse. Because that pastor there in that mega church, he can't read the minds of everybody around him. You know? He would have to have a meeting. Hey, he said this. How do we counteract that? And so you would have time to come back too, and he would have time to come back. But now ChatGPT comes back instantly. And he lies. It lies. Yeah. Say you're amorphotizing the word. Well, if you understand amorphotizing the word, you also understand that we do so when we actually, get a little bit perturbed at a thing and start treating it like a human. It's like anyway. Roy Princess says you're good, and I appreciate the feedback, y'all. This is a roundtable discussion. Hopefully one day it will be a roundtable with multiple people around. It is what it is right now, so appreciate the feedback. We're talking about the Christmas spirit and how love is being used as a weapon by Satan to drive our families into idolatry. In other words, our loved ones are saying, hey, you don't love us if you don't call us on Christmas Day, or come and hang with us on New Year's Day, or come and eat with us on the Devil's Day. If you don't participate in this paganism that we're all here doing, you've considered yourself outside of our family, and not worthy of our love. And so therefore we're going to disconnect you and, go on treat and all of this. But thing about it, they doing us a favor. Nobody called me on Christmas this year. Nobody called me on Thanksgiving this year. Nobody. That's, ain't that a favor? Nobody offered me a Christmas nothing, a Thanksgiving nothing. Nobody, nothing. And so out of all of these years, I don't have to, all of a sudden I ain't got to worry about it. And so that it's good in it, but that ain't what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the fact that these are our loved ones. They actually think they're doing the right thing. At least I hope they think they're doing the right thing. Some of us actually think we are doing the wrong thing, like they think I'm Jewish or something, or, I'm Jewish because I do Hanukkah. They think I'm Muslim because I don't eat pork. And it's always a label. And so they think, they Christian because they, and so they assume that they better than us. The people that's not at the pagan holiday, these people are really so confused, they think they better than us. Anyway, one of the things we're talking about in this video, and I need to go ahead and find it. It's in here somewhere. Let me see, what was I searching for? The law. One of the things we're in this video is the law. What is it? Now, this little quirky little device I have here, the one you're seeing, it's not gonna let me do that. Let me see something. Hold on, let me draw that. All right, so I'm not gonna change the page. And so this page here, I had to change it. As soon as I said I wasn't there, I'll go back. Okay, this page right here, we're stuck on it. But I need to find out the verse that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna give you guys a chance to give comments, because I can't chew bubblegum and walk. I'm looking up the verse. The verse I'm looking for is the verse that tells us what the law is. Now it's in Similitudes 9. If you have your book called The Shepherd of Hermas, we're coming out of Similitude 9. And we're down here in verse 24 of Similitudes 9. Let me go down to verse 24. I'm sorry about these ads down here at the bottom of these things. Ooh, haha. Look here now how they are drawing attention to this. Here, I maybe blow the font up a little bit, but they're drawing attention with all of these brackets. And like I said earlier, when you start adding these brackets, you're adding stuff to the Bible. You're adding stuff to the text. You see right there where it says note, MS, lamb, and we can't even read what that. Some Latin stuff. Over here in the version that I'm looking at, I'm over here at enwikisource.org, looking at the suppressed gospels and epistles of the original New Testament, which includes the Shepherd of Hermas, and it don't have all of that. But anyway, we can see the part right here where it says, now this law is the Son of God. And that I'm gonna get real preachy here, because that's what we're talking about. Let me read the verse. I ain't gonna get completely preachy. We'll read the whole verse. Who is preached to all the ends of the earth. The people that stand under the shadow are those which have heard his preaching and believe. See this other part down here at the bottom. I'll go ahead and explain this. This is the book called The Shepherd of Hermas. And it's, is this parable? What parable is this? I said it was parable 9. No, this is 8. This is 8. So this is the parable of the willow tree, where the angel comes out and shows Hermas a willow tree, which the willow tree represents the law. And so the angel starts cutting branches off of the willow tree and giving them to people. And each one of these branches represents the law, like it was the time when you first heard about the law years ago. The question is, what did you do with it? Did you obey it or did you throw it down? Well, if you threw it down, your rod turned out messed up. And so when you gave your rod back, it had to go through another recycling kind of period and such and all of that. And that's what this book is about, explaining how we have to grow in the law. The Shepherd of Hermas is the most sophisticated book in the New Testament. It once was in the New Testament. It should still be in the New Testament, but it's kind of in the lost books of the Bible now, the forgotten books of Eden. But anyway, I'm trying to scroll all the way down here. We're going to get down here to verse 22, which looks like the beginning of the paragraph. It says, I said unto him, Sir, tell me what this tree denotes, for I am greatly astonished that after so many branches have been cut off, it seems to still be whole, nor does there anything the less of it appear to remain, which greatly amazes me. In other words, he then saw this tree where this angel done cut a branch off and gave it to everybody in the world. But the tree's still standing strong, like ain't nothing happened to it. Like, you don't look like you cut a branch off at all, but you gave a branch. I watched you give a branch to everybody, and the tree's still standing strong. He answered, Hearken, this great tree, which covereth the plains and the mountains and all the earth, is the law of God, published throughout the whole world. All right, now, we've done this before in a video. Stacy helped me with this years ago. But like I said, we prayed on what we were going to talk about today, and whoop, there it is. This one that he's talking to is actually an angel. This is one of the reasons why this book was thrown out of the Bible, is because an angel was talking to him. Where it says he answered, hearken. That's the angel telling him, you know. And you know, you remember how they used to tell us how the story was written, where you had the narrator and the first person and the second person and all of that. But just like he's talking about Hermas and he's talking about this what it is Hermas is the one who has written the book. Hermas is the one who actually physically had the 3-dimensional hands, the ink pen, the paper. else. He needed the scroll paper or parchment paper to actually write out the Hebrew letters and the other letters, the Greek letters that that he needed to write the book. He spoke both Hebrew and Greek. You can tell because he had trouble figuring out the Hebrew. He didn't understand the Hebrew fluently, and so he must have spoke some other language. But anyway. So Hermas is the one who is actually the author of the book, the first person who is writing the book, but he's getting all of his information from an angel. So the angel is talking to him. The unique thing about this, nowhere in the Bible is there a book written where an angel talks to the whole book. There are parts inside of like the book of Genesis where the two angels went there and talked to Abraham. There, those same two angels went and talked to Lot, but those are little small portions of angels just talking. No, the shepherd of Hermas is actually 3 parts. In the first part called the visions, Hermas has a dream. It may as well be calling dreams because he has what's called a night vision, is a dream, and he has a dream and that's all it is a dream. But then after the dream, he's given some commandments, and he's told to read the commandments and do the commandments. And after he does the commandments, only then will he be able to hear directly from an angel. Now, we learn over in the Keys of Enoch that he's actually hearing from an Ophanim, which meaning that Hermas somehow got the morning star. He got enlightened, blah, the great awakening, yada, yada. We just kind of almost old news by now. I'm being a little bit facetious, but we know what's going on here. It's not that big a deal to walk with the Lord. There's plenty of people who after this video goes off and I shut up, they're going to go pray and do some other stuff, including walking with the Lord. That's something we just do. That's called being spiritualized now. That's something we do now. The reason why we have so much trouble getting back that way, and the reason why some of you guys are taking so long to get back that way is because of paganism, breaking the law and paganism and stuff. And that's what we're talking about. All right? So let's go on. So yeah, he hearing from my angel. Cool. We good, right? Y'all can take it, right? Y'all grown ups. The book is written by an angel. They had to throw it out the Bible because of that. Like what? They talking to angels? We can't believe that. Let's get it out the Bible. Anyway, so the angel of repentance, no doubt, says this great tree which covers the plains and the mountains. Now the plains and the mountains. Now this part is tricky in the book because you have to go to the next chapter to learn what the plains and the mountains are. That's similar to 9. I'm gonna save you I'm gonna try to build some suspense in you enough to where you would actually go find the book to read that. I mean, I wouldn't dare try to sum that up right here in this kind of video. Read chapter 9 to understand the plains and the mountains. That's above my pay grade for right now. And all the earth is the law, but understand that the plains and the mountains are all of us. The plains are elevated people who've been doing right and studying the law and rising their spirit. But you know what a backslider is? Yeah, that's the mountain part. You can fall off that mountain and back down into the plain. The plain is where the people who ain't done so much. They kind of just down there. They ain't saying they bad. It's just they ain't read the Bible a whole lot. And all the yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so those are the plains of the mountains. Say we're going to do it. But, read the next chapter. It's way, way, way more to it than that. But my point is that this tree, which is a parable kind of thing, it's a similitude, is covering the whole earth. Like I said, everybody on the earth gets this. Everybody on the earth gets this. And what is it that they get? The law, which is published throughout the world. Everybody has Exodus in their house. What country don't have the book of Exodus? I promise you, if you yell it loud enough, some country, Blankanakania, don't got a Bible. There's 20 people right now will pitch in to ship Bibles to that part of the world right now. I promise you, listening to this video, there will be people that will send a cash app. Yeah, I want to send a few Bibles. Yeah, coach, can you buy some Bibles and send them over to Blankanakania? Absolutely, that's what we do. And so it's been published throughout the whole world. Everybody got it now. Are they listening to it? That's what the golden calf come in. The pagan holidays come in. So now you can physically block it out. And so that's what the question is. What did you do with the law? When he gave you the law, did you look at it and throw it down and go find you a Christmas tree? Yeah, a whole lot of people did. They wouldn't look for a turkey bone or whatever and forgot about the Lord. And the thing about it, like we learn in the Keys of Enoch, that severs your connection. The act of participating in a pagan holiday cuts off your conscience. Now you can't hear your conscience no more. And like the New Testament said, these people's conscience are seared shut. Like when they take that hot iron and put it to that wound that's bleeding to stop it from bleeding, they burn it, they sear it. It don't bleed no more. Well, their conscience is seared shut like that. And to get their conscience seared shut, I ain't giving nobody no playbooks, but some of you guys, you need to quit figuring out the wrong stuff to do. That's called witchcraft. I didn't say, but that's what they. But like I said, that's what they doing. Birthday parties, Christmas dinners, Easter eggs, all of it, everything on that calendar, including the Jewish feast days, which are on the wrong day, like celebrating Atonement Day on the wrong day. That's paganism. Celebrating the memorial trumpets a day early, that's paganism. Celebrating the Sabbath day when you want to, that's paganism. And the Muslims, they ain't doing no better. As far as the feast day, they doing a little bit better as far as the law is concerned, because they kind of scared to break the law. Somebody been and did something to you over there. So they doing a little bit better as far as keeping the 10 Commandments is concerned. Ain't nobody stealing too much over there. They're afraid to get their hand cut off. But as far as feast days is concerned, no. Ramadan is just a knockoff of Passover, and they doing it any time of the year. Paganism. That's what the Bible means when they say come out of her. Every religion is like that. Even the ones they try to act like it's the good religions, them Far Eastern religions that don't nobody talk about too much. No. If they ain't keeping the feast day, they ain't doing nothing. If they ain't keeping the feast days on the proper day, they ain't doing nothing. Nothing. Acting like they playing church. That's why they be all down there when they all come together to bow down to the Pope. That's why they down there too, bowing down to the Pope. Anyway. So he's saying that the law, this tree, is the law. The law is covering all of the plains, which are the people trying to do it, the people not doing it, the mountains, which the people are doing it, everybody on the earth, and it's public throughout the world. Then look at verse 24. It says, now this law is the Son of God. So now look at this. The law is the Son of God. Let's come back to that part, because that's what he'll be talking about here. Who is preached to all the ends of the earth. I gotta read the whole verse first. Now this law is the Son of God, who is preached to all of the ends of the earth. The people that stand under its shadow are those who have heard his preaching and believed. So now the law is given to everybody, but who is standing under the shadow of it? And it gave you the law, and we still got the rod in our hand. If we remember the story correctly, we didn't throw the rod down, but according to this, we didn't stand under the tree. So we obviously walked away from under the tree. At one point, we were under the tree. When he gave us the rod, we were obviously under the tree, but we've walked away from under the tree. So now we're walking away from the tree with the rod in our hand. And of course, the farther we get away from the tree, the worse our rod is going to turn out to be. So the people that are still standing under the tree, those are the ones who heard the law. And what does it say? Heard the preaching of the word. What does it say? In the beginning was the word. And the word was with God, and the word was God. I better go look that up. Dang, I don't forgot that quote. That's John chapter 1. Get to refresh my mind. In the beginning, the word was with God, and the word was God. So this is the preaching throughout all of the word. The word is being preached throughout the world. preached to the ends of the earth. But notice this part right here. This law is the Son of God. Now, there's a whole lot of people out here talking about they worshiping the Messiah this, worshiping the Messiah that. But look at this. The Son of God is the law. The law equals the Son of God. The Son of God equals the law. So if they ain't obeying the law, they ain't worshiping the Son of God at all. One, they go together. And, you think how, today, like we're saying, there's the feminine spirit, the rebellious spirit says the opposite, that the Messiah has gotten away from the law. The Messiah is done away from the law. The Messiah said we don't need the law. We don't have to obey the law, which is, of course, not true. But look how far they've gotten away from it when they've actually thrown out the book that says that the law is the Messiah. The Messiah is the law. Period. Where's the debate when he is the law? You talking about whether we're supposed to obey the law or not. How can you debate if you're supposed to obey the law when he is the law? But that's what we're talking about. And the reason why is because we have allowed ourselves to start disobeying the truth and getting ourselves cut off the same way Eve did back there listening to the devil. We are listening to the devil. Humanity as a whole right now is listening to the devil. The devil is behind I'm sorry, guys, to have to tell you like it is, but this is God over money. I gotta say what I want. The devil is behind the pulpit. He's behind he's in the synagogue. He's taken over the church. He's kicked all of the people who are in pursuit of truth, righteousness, and holiness out of the church since 2017. The devil won't even allow them. I mean, they can come and be quiet as long as they be quiet, but they don't even get to talk no more in the church. They been ostracized all righteousness has been ostracized from the church. That's what it means to come out of her. What business I don't want to get too far in your business, but one of my buddies was sharing the other day that his wife goes to church, and I'm like, why? What? Is she like me? Is she like coaching a fight? Going in there and telling them what for? Is she in a halfway argument every time she's going in there debating the truth, trying to correct them and all of this? Or is she just listening and then eating them? Anyway, that's kind of all I had to say. Let's go over here and check out, see if we got any more comments. We got Donzella Ross. Says, Grand Rising, family. Grand Rising. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Here at the Hillbilly Homestead, we had a little bit of issue with the sheep. You've noticed in a lot of the videos lately, you don't hear a lot of the sheep bleating in the background. That's because they've been up there on Stacy and them's property for a while, as I've been trying to let the grass grow down here. They hit everything up down here, and so we had to give them some time for the grass to come back. But anyway, so we didn't got them back down here, and they were doing pretty good. But then we had a little bit of thing with the gates where we shut the gate, and then after we shut the gate inappropriately, we didn't open it fast enough. And getting around and out and outside of the fence, going in different places they ain't supposed to be. Everything is a parable. So the sheep were out. What's the song? Sheep were on the loose. The Gospel of Thomas, Rory Prince is the Most High Yah. All right. I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna go over here to where I'm going first. Pseudepigrapha, see if it's in there. Thomas. The Book of Thomas. The Epistle Gospel of Thomas. Yep. First, I'm gonna give y'all this link. I mean, look for the word dogs. No, I can't. I'm not gonna show it up. No, this might not be the book. It ain't got the word dog in it. I'm looking at the Infancy Gospel of Thomas. No, that ain't it. Okay, let me go find. I'm looking for the book now called the Gospel of Thomas. I have it on my computer. I'm looking for a link so I can share with you guys. It's probably already down in the description of most of my videos. All right, it's a little bit harder to find, so I'm gonna have to put the word .pdf whenever you want to find a book and it's hard to find. Put .pdf at the end of it. That'll narrow the searches down. I see Marquette University. So that seems familiar. All right, so I got you guys a hot link. Hot link coming up. Here's the time to like, whoop, bam. All right, so now that's the link to the Gospel of Thomas. You guys can go look at it. Now I'm going to find the verse while you guys do that. Let's see, where is the verse? Mary? Did he use the word Mary? Yep, down there in verse 104, verse 114. All right, let me purse this up. Now I did water it down for you audience, but here go the real. Here I might have too many characters. I got too many characters. Here come the real. This is what he really said. I was being nice about it. I was being real nice about it. Where'd it go? Thank. Where'd it go? Thank. Simon Peter said to him, wait, I ain't got to the rest of the comments. Let me not pass by any of the comments. We got Deb Hargrove says, hi, glad you're teaching. Glad I'm teaching, Deb. Glad you're hanging in there. Appreciate the feedback, guys. This job ain't as easy as it seems. You know, it ain't, you know, there's a whole lot that goes into this. And it is work. It is, you know, it ain't bad work. It ain't tough work. I do love the work, but, you know, it is work the same. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of people in this world that love their jobs, you know, especially on them basketball courts and football fields, but that don't mean they ain't working hard doing it. I guess I'm comparing myself to entertainers now. Musicians and all of that, you know, they working hard. Anyway, so let's get to this verse. Since Royal Prince of the Most High Yah reminded us. Simon Peter said to him, let Mary leave us, for women are not worthy of life. Jesus said, I'm gonna have to read this again. I myself shall lead her in order to make her male, so that she too may become living spirit. Now, which Mary is this? Mary, the mother of the Messiah, or the other one? Both of them seem spiritually significant. Both of them, you know, are you know, significant figures in the Bible. You know, I don't know what else to say. Whatever adjective to add to it. I mean, Mary and Mary. But one of them, Simon Peter, they came up and say, hey, you put her out. Get her out of here. Why is she in the meeting? Well, Messiah, we're in a meeting and there's a woman in here. Can you ask her to leave, please? I know it's your mama. If it wasn't your mama, I'd tell her to get out myself, but it is your mother. Can you ask your mother to leave, Messiah? Because women are not worthy of life. That's what he's saying. Hey, Clifford, check out this verse. What you think about this? Simon Peter said to him, let Mary leave us, for women are not worthy of life. Jesus said, I myself shall lead her in order to make her male, so that she too will become living spirit. What that say to you? You on YouTube too, live and everything. You want to say hi first?
Hey.
I'll be putting them on the spot. We got Catalyst says, Okay, it's the real name. But anyway, it says Yellowstone Havilah, according to Sea of the Times. I'm unsure, be seen plausible. I'm unsure, but seems plausible. All right, they gave you enough to answer. Got an answer yet? Does it make sense? They was in a meeting, right? Like, this is the disciples talking to the Messiah. Got all the 12 disciples and the Messiah, and apparently Mary is in there too. And Simon Peter said, hey, Messiah, can you ask Mary to leave? Because women, they don't even deserve life, much less to be in this meeting with you. He didn't add that part. That's me adding words, but that's what he was saying. Women don't deserve life. Can you ask her to leave? He didn't ask why she was there. He didn't say, nah, he just said, get her out of here. This is one of the disciples. But the Messiah's response was, I myself shall lead her in order to make her male. So he gonna take over in order to change her to a male. Now what that means? So you missed the whole part about the male and the female spirits, right? And how feminine spirits, since there's no such thing as a female spirit, feminine spirit is just a spirit that breaks the law, or is into like Lilith or Jezebel or Delilah, yada yada yada. Or the Enoch, while the male spirits are counted as the good guys. Again, there's no such thing as a male spirit, but the masculine spirits are the ones like Enoch, Elijah, Aaron, Moses, yada yada. So he's saying in this meeting with the Messiah, he like the Messiah is like, I'm gonna teach her myself so that she gonna stop being feminine. In other words, with a propensity towards breaking the law and doing evil. He gonna stop and make her stop. He gonna teach her herself so that she gonna know the law. And that what we're talking about in this video is how the law is the Son of God. So when we're putting two and two together, what we understand is that the law is what's going to change the woman in order to become male. Once she starts keeping the law, she's going to become male. Make sense? Well, y'all let me know if it makes sense to y'all down in the comment section. We ain't got much time because we're about to wrap this video up. I'm still trying to figure out Kat's comment. She says, Yellowstone is Havilah, according to the Sea of the Times. I'm unsure, but seems plausible. Havilah? I don't know Havilah. I would have to do a Bible study on Havilah. I've never studied Havilah. Let me put it on my things to do list. Havilah. Havilah. Matter of fact, the Bible says don't be ignorant of anything, so let's look it up. Right quick. I already got too much on my things to do list. Havilah. Havilah. I don't see a Havilah, I see a Chavilah. Yep. I see a Waya Laha. Let me put this up there. This is what I see. Frank. What is that? Well, y'all, somebody tell me what those letters are. I'll go ahead and put the whole there, maybe. Chavala. All right, now, that's for you guys' sake. If you want that link to where I'm at, here's a link for you guys' sake. Boop. Boink. Now, wouldn't it be cool to have Bible studies and stuff on there? On it? But we actually already are. All right, we see that in Genesis 2 and 11, the land of Havilah don't tell me what it is. The word origin is to twist, circular. The name of 2 or 3 eastern regions, also perhaps 2 men. All right. All right, where am I? Let me draw lots. I hadn't planned on doing this. You don't want to call no audibles, so I'm going to ask my father if I can proceed. All right, we got permission. What we're going to do, we're going over here to ChatGPT and put this in. Now, what I just did for drawing lots, I prayed and asked my father to show me his will. First of all, I asked for his will to be done. And then I asked him to show me his will by way of the stones that I have, by way of lots. Anyway, it's a technique we learn. I've taught that several classes, but anyway. I'm on the basic mode over here on ChatGPT. Y'all, it's dumbed me down to straight up basic. So I'm gonna say, can you give me the spiritual meaning of this word from the Bible? And how many characters do we have? How many characters can we put down here? I don't know. And I'm going to say 250 characters in 250 characters. This is ChatGPT, and I'm going to put in just what it says based on, I'm going to put my question first. Say do. And this is the response it gave. All right, so the Hebrew word, okay, he gave hasada. Wait a minute, what word did I give him? Like I said, it's on a basic one. Chavala is the biblical region, like meaning twisted or circuit, symbolizing complexity or interconnected paths. Spiritually, it can reflect life's winding journeys or guiding paths and purposes. Come on, you got to help me out. What is this? What is that word? See, you always have to find the 3-dimensional meanings of the word. I mean, the 5th-dimensional meanings of the word. So let's do a little bit of Hebrew. What I'm going to do, I wish you guys could see all of this, but what I'm going to do now is put in the true Alabayata and tell it to reevaluate the letters, reevaluate the word based on the letters. All right, this thing is in the basic mode, so it ain't. Let's see. Go back to the comment section. Oh, I know what I did. Sorry for the silence. Okay, so what I did was put in the letters. Like I said, the letters Allah Bayatha. If you're not familiar with what that is, let me know and I can get you a link to it. It's the true alphabet. What the alphabet was, what the Hebrew alphabet was supposed to be before before rabbinic changes were made. Let's see what it says now. Based on the letters, it says Chavla can be seen as a protected path of connection and learning, where divine presence guides actions and growth. It symbolizes life journeys within God's guidance, blending boundaries. I'm still at a loss. There's a significance. What it says? Ha Chawa. Ha Chawaya. Now, like I said, we're going to have to look into it some more to see. Royal Prince of the Most High Yah has a very high mind, you guys. And a lot of her stuff that she wants to talk about. I got one thing that I'm still working on that she sent me almost a year ago. But anyway, we'll work on this. We're gonna find something about this Havilah. We may have to do a whole big study on the different names and what they all mean. The reason why it's important to me is because of like the word Gilgal or Gala Gala, which symbolizes the spiritual state we would call the awakening or the kingdom of heaven or all of that kind of stuff. And the words like Ophanim is talking, about, higher minded stuff as well. And so when you start thinking about like these towns, they all mean something. And so it is important, but what was our original thing? Was it a town over there in the Middle East? Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. Yep, we'll talk about it in the email. If you got anything about that, if you got anything out of this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. I understand, but your dislikes count too. So go ahead and register your dislike, if you will. But make sure you're subscribed because we have a variety of stuff that we put out. We're all over the scope of the Bible. There's no part of the Bible that we're afraid of and not willing to go. We do talk about a lot of stuff in the scriptures, so make sure you subscribe. Appreciate all the help you guys are sending my way, all the assistance. Greatly needed and greatly appreciated. Thank you. And with that, I'll say shalom.